yeah, the last book in the book haul is, hi, you're probably questioning your literacy right now because you're like, Emma, why a last book haul? Why would this be your last book haul? We know you. You're someone who likes to buy books. The good news is you can still read. The bad news is I am not buying any books this year. If you haven't seen my latest vlog, I kind of went on a little bit of a chat about how I wanted this year, 2025, to be a no-buy year for me, with books being one of the biggest things that I just am not gonna buy at all. Like, no physical books. Obviously, I'm still gonna borrow from my library. If someone gives me a book as a gift, I'm not gonna say no, okay? I'm not crazy. You also might be asking, if this is a no-buy year, why are we doing a book haul? Well, my friend, I'm a smart cookie. I bought these books all before the year changed into 2025. So between December 26th and December 31st, I went on a Boxing Day book sale extravaganza, which was great because number one, there was obviously Boxing Day sales on, and number two, Canada has been doing this strange thing right now where we don't pay taxes on certain things, and books fell into that category. So not only were there sales on, I didn't have to pay taxes on any of these books. I'm very excited because through all of these, like, I went through so many different wish lists that I had created everywhere, and I ordered myself basically everything that I really wanted to read and get to. And of course, there's like a prominent theme in this video, but there's also some strange fun picks, so let's do it. I have a little cup of cold coffee now, so let's get started. Okay, so the first two books, actually, funnily enough, I did get these books in 2025, but I didn't buy them. I said it was a no-buy year, but I didn't say anything about stealing. Just kidding. These are from little book boxes in the neighborhood, which I'm just so happy that these exist because I found some great picks in them. So the first book that I took out of the book box, and you like take a book, leave a book, you know the drill, is The Vegetarian by Han Kang. This is a gorgeous copy. I have actually already read The Vegetarian. This is one of the first books that I ever read on my booktube channel when I joined. And I liked it, but I think upon reread, I would like it so much more. I had never seen this gorgeous, gorgeous cover. This is a deeply disturbing book about this woman. She's married. The first sentence of the book, I just flicked through it the other day and I was like, oh, that's not very nice. Before my wife turned vegetarian, I'd always thought of her as completely unremarkable in every way. So she decides that she wants to stop eating meat. She wants to be vegetarian, and her husband is like, what the frick are you doing? This is seen as very revolutionary, very extreme by a lot of people in her life, and her decision to go meatless is a little bit more based on wanting to be plant-like. So you follow her being ostracized and made fun of and insulted and just being seen as like that weird girl who doesn't want to eat meat. It goes places that like I was not expecting, but yeah, big fan of this book. I really want to read more Han Kang, so that is the first one that I picked up. She did win the Nobel Prize in Literature for 2024, so got her. I opened up this book box and this just caught my eye, and that book is The Ice Children by M.G. Leonard. Look it. Yeah, I had definitely seen this somewhere before, but I don't remember where. The one in the book box is a Waterstones signed exclusive edition, so it is signed by the author. And then look at how gorgeous. Look at how she's beautiful. Look at the spine. I'm sorry, I think I'm gonna have to take the dust jacket off and leave it on my shelves like this because the snowflake spine is just everything to me. This is a middle grade fantasy, and it's about this girl who notices that her brother, well, I mean, I hope she notices that he turned to ice. He's trapped in this ice sculpture version of himself, and slowly this starts to happen to other kids in her area, in her neighborhood. And she's like, well, what the heck? What did my brother do? It turns out he read a book, and I think after he read the book, he turned into ice, and so now she's on a mission to track down this book. Look at this. And on the way, she gets a reindeer companion as a friend. So honestly, I've heard nothing about this, but it just, I mean, come on. The ice, the snow, the snowflakes, the snowflake spine. And then finally, I got 2 books for Christmas, so I'm very excited to show you these. The first one is very, very petite. It's very small. It's very cute. I think I'll be picking this up pretty soon. And that is Glaciers by Alexis M. Smith. This is also a 2024 release, I think, but thank you to my mother and father. And this follows this young girl named Isabel. She grew up in Alaska, and she recounts, like, I think most of this is looking back at her memories, because currently she lives in Oregon and she works in the basement of a library binding books, but she starts to recall her past living in Alaska. She recalls her parents' divorce, I think, and her encounter with a glacier in Alaska. So yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting. I really hope the glacier plays a lot into this. I'm sure, I mean, obviously it's called Glaciers, so I'm very, very interested to read this because I haven't heard anything about it. This one smells pretty good. There were glaciers, so of course there also had to be hotels. I also was gifted the Grand Hotel by Vicky Baum. Everyone has recommended me this one. I actually heard about this one when I was researching for my last thesis, my undergrad thesis, and I stumbled across Grand Hotel, and I just, I know there's a film by the same name. I actually heard about the film first. I think this just looks so good. So this is a classic set during the, is it the World War II? No, sorry. It's set in the center of 1920s Berlin, and this one is set, I think, all in the hotel. It's definitely a microcosm for the European world. And I'm just curious about this because the back makes it sound like really kind of lighthearted and fun in that we follow everyone staying in the hotel. Like, for example, we have a ballerina. She's a great ballerina now fighting a losing battle, not so much against age as against her fear of it, who has a thing for this other guy who's a hotel thief, a professional thief. I just, the hotel thief, Castle in the Clouds vibes a little bit, and we just follow, like, I don't know, everyone in here, but the blurb on the back also says that it gets very disturbing. So I'm very curious to see where this goes. But yeah, I might even think about putting this in the world tour somewhere because the author is Austrian. So very, 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 very excited for this one. We have a few packages here. Okay, it's a fun one. So these 3 books, actually all 3 of them, I heard about these from other books that I was reading, and the other books that I was reading made me want to read them. And I feel like when that happens, some of my favorite books have been books that I've heard about from other books. So thank you to our Lord and Savior, intertextuality. Let's start with the Poetics of Space. Ooh, we have a new penguin to add to our collection. I don't really know what that smells like. I was very interested in this. I really want to get more into architectural works in 2025. I have a few on my shelf. That went so far up my nose. I actually borrowed this from the library again when I was writing my undergrad stuff, and I started reading it and I was like, ooh, wow, this sounds really interesting. I want to own this. And so I returned it with the caveat that I was just going to get it for myself. It takes as its premise the emergence of the poetic image and finds an ideal metaphor in the intimate spaces of our homes. He examines the domestic places that shape and hold our dreams and memories, houses and rooms, cellars and attics, drawers, chests, wardrobes, nests and shelves, nooks and corners. Just, you get the idea. It just sounds so cool. It looked so cool. And it also seemed very accessible for like a piece of theory and a study like this. So yeah, very excited. And you know who it's blurbed by? You have to know who did the intro. I mean, look, he's doing weird things. The words are in weird spaces on the page. That is Mark Z. Danielewski. So that is the Poetics of Space. I'm very excited. And then the other 2 books in here, I heard about both of these ones actually from Big Mall by Kate Black. That was one of my favorite reads of last year. It's a piece of nonfiction about the mall, among other little things, and she mentioned both of these. So let's start with this one. This one is just called Capitalist Realism. Is There No Alternative by Mark Fisher. So I think what she was saying in Big Mall is that this one takes as its premise that like the end of capitalism or like some other system other than capitalism is very hard to imagine because it has presented itself as the only realistic political economic system. And what effects has this realism had on work, culture, education, and mental health? This malaise, the feeling that there's nothing new, is itself nothing new, of course. So I might pick this one up soon and I'll let you know how it goes. The other one is a little bit of the same theme but in a different form. So we have Turn Up the Ocean by Tony Hoagland. This cover really caught my eye. Like, this cover really caught my eye. Okay, so in Big Mall, Kate Black mentioned Tony Hoagland, who is an American poet. I had never heard of him before, but she didn't mention this collection. She mentioned a different one. I forget. I think it's called Sweet Ruin, maybe. And in that one, he had a poem about the Mall of America. But when I was like the poem hooked me. But then as I was going through like his works, Turn Up the Ocean just sounded really, really interesting. I love the title. I love the cover. The collection examines with humor the reality of living and dying in a time and culture that conspire to erase our inner lives. He looks at long-standing injustices, the atrocities of American empire and consumerism, and our ongoing habit of looking away. I kind of want to find the title poem. Okay, I have found the title poem. I haven't bought a new collection of poetry in a long time, so I feel like I want to get back into it. I'm ready to get back into it. If you want a little taste, this is Turn Up the Ocean, the title poem. Now that I've bought a machine that plays noises recorded from nature, I can have thunderstorm, or forest pines, or sonorous ocean at the push of a button. It soothes me in the night to hear the waves sweeping over the beach again and again, and the blue-gray background screech of the gulls. It turns out this sound is all the comfort I ever wanted, and that all the conversation I really need is that surging of surf played on a permanent loop. Who knew the ocean could be kept on a digital chip, along with morning birdsong and wind through summer grass? Again and again, my heart has been broken by people who didn't have what I want, whom I then accused of refusing to give me all that they had, when their only fault, I now see, was not being the trees or the wind or the rain, which are only generous because they have an endless supply of everything. Their crime was not being everything, those people, which it turns out was my crime too. Now when I hear myself complaining, I can say this pattern of mine has a certain repetition, which who knows, someday might even seem natural. In the meantime, I'm going to rely on the great outdoors, which I keep in my little room, where I'm going to turn up the ocean. That is Turn Up the Ocean. Okay, so I think I might have made a mistake. Probably not really gonna do anything about it because for 2025, we're gonna be reading The Silmarillion for Game of Tomes, our big book club where we read big books. So we read The Lord of the Rings in 2024, and then in 2025, in the spring, we're gonna be reading The Silmarillion. So, ooh. I just ordered The Silmarillion. I really didn't put too much thought into what edition or copy I wanted, and unfortunately, I just got the mass market paperback, which I'm now kind of regretting because, like, first of all, spines will be broken, but there's no room. The print is pretty small, but there's no room to write stuff down, which I've heard you probably want to do when you're reading The Silmarillion, which is a history of Middle-earth from the First Age. Yeah, in the First Age of Middle-earth, and the foundations of the world and its peoples before the events in Lord of the Rings. I've been wanting to read The Silmarillion for a really long time, so if you want to join us, I will link our book club video up above, but ooh, so excited. And also, it just doesn't match, you know, it doesn't match my other editions of Lord of the Rings. Alas, these are small problems. They're not even problems. If this is an example of what you don't want, because like this, my friends, wow. It's The Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann. Look, this one I did do some serious digging into what copy I wanted because Carolyn got we're going to be reading this as well for the Game of Tomes book club if you're new here. We're actually have already started it. A lot of people have already started it because we'll be reading it for January, February, and March. Carolyn got the really beautiful vintage edition, which I love the cover art of, but she said the print was really, really tiny, and I do not like that. I will do anything not to have tiny print. So I picked up the actual edition. I'd never heard of this, but wow, I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I did because the print is a lot bigger. You probably can't really tell, but as well, oh my god, please make all books this floppy. It's about this man and he is staying in the Swiss Alps in a sanatorium for tuberculosis patients, and he's there for 7 years, and I guess we learn what he gets up to in the Swiss Alps in the tuberculosis place. That's all I know. That is all I know yet again, but I'm just really happy that I got this copy. And also for reference, like, it's huge. This is one of the biggest books that I own. This is my head. What? And I'm gonna start it any day now that I've opened it. So that is The Magic Mountain. Okay, so because I got The Magic Mountain, I did want to get a little bit of a companion book to it. I saw this on Goodreads. I don't know what friend of mine on Goodreads it was some random person out there. You added this book and I saw it and I was like, oh, she is The Impusium. The Impusium, a health resort horror story by Olga Tokarczuk. I love Olga. I loved Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead, which I now own as well. And when I saw that this came out, I think this is again another 2024 release. I was like, I would like to have that in my life. As you might imagine from the title, this is very, very, very much inspired by The Magic Mountain, but it takes, I think, things a little differently. 1913, a young Pole suffering from tuberculosis arrives at Wilhelm Opitz's guest house for gentlemen, a health resort in the mountains. Every evening, the residents gather to imbibe the hallucinogenic local liqueur and debate the great issues of the day. Do devils exist? Are women born inferior? And this is the Fitzcarraldo edition, which I have never seen in stores here, but I kind of like it. It's very, very cool. So that is the Impusium. It's puce. What color is it? It's puce.
Leave the puce.
I have another package. There are 2 books in that package. Let's start with this one because it finally happened and the world is still turning. I bought my first Stephen King book. I finally bought my first Stephen King book. Can you believe it? I finally bought The Shining. I finally found a cover that I really enjoy. I have only ever listened to Carrie by Stephen King and I didn't like it. And since then I just didn't think I wanted to read like any other King, but everyone was like, you gotta read The Shining if snow and hotels are your thing. So I recently tried to rewatch the film. I first watched The Shining in high school and then recently I threw it back on and I didn't get all the way through, honestly. Very common with me for films. I'm thinking I might actually enjoy the book a lot more. When I was watching the film, again, I was just like, Mr. Dude, go touch some snow. Like, go outside, touch some snow, come back in, build a snowman, you know, frolic around in the snowflakes and come back in because you're losing it. You need a timeout. Never heard of this. This is about a family. We have a husband, a wife, and their 5-year-old son. I think the kid, honestly, in the film, I think he might be out acting everyone. I think he is so disturbing and he really sells it. The father gets a job at the Overlook Hotel, which I think is in Colorado, and he is going to be the caretaker of the hotel in the winter season because it completely shuts down. It's extremely remote. You can't really get in or out. You get snowed in every single winter and they're just going to look after this huge hotel, the 3 of them, for months and months and months. And he's also a struggling writer. Things obviously don't go well. Like, they get told a lot of stories about the last caretaker of the hotel and what happened with him. And also there's lots of things going on with their son. I'm very, very intrigued to actually read like my first proper Stephen King. So I'll let you know how it goes. This one is so buttery smooth. That is The Shining. And then the other one in there is actually a nonfiction, very tiny little book. This is the Columbia Icefield, the field guide, I guess. So I was very, very fortunate to go to Jasper almost a year ago now, and I saw, well, I didn't see it, right, because it always remains kind of above where you can see an actual ice field, which then spills into the glaciers, but the Columbia Icefield is absolutely huge. This is the ice field that Ice Fields by Thomas Wharton is talking about. This is also a photographic guide to the Athabasca Glacier, which is the one that I was able to visit. So I'm just very excited. I just really wanted to like have this and read it and then just maybe take it with me next time kind of thing. Like when I went, you couldn't because it was winter, but in the summer you can drive up to the ice field and walk on the ice field. I have one book here that was sent to me by the publisher, so thank you so much to Quirk Books for sending this my way, but this is a absolutely gorgeous, such a gorgeous book. This is Taylor Swift by the Book by Rachel Feder and Tiffany Tatro. That's a very nice name. This is the literature behind the lyrics. So this is just, if I had a coffee table, I don't have a coffee table. So this takes, like, I think it goes through every single album that she has. This is just really like such a beautifully put together book. And it goes through every single one of her albums. And then if there's any reference at all, any allusion to any other piece of literature or mythology or fairy tale, the authors will tell you about them and like tell you a little bit of history or a little bit about that poet that Taylor Swift is referencing. Okay, so this lyric from Love Story, I was a scarlet letter. And then they explain like, hey, this is a reference to The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne, and then kind of like illustrates the example and like tells you a little bit about the history. I just think this is really cool. This is something I was just like, ooh, that sounds really, really nice. They also give you like little recommendations. Like this whole page I think is about T.S. Eliot, and yeah, There's one on Lord Byron. This just looks so sweet. And I love this color green. It is Taylor Swift by the book. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sending this to me. When they asked if I wanted a copy, I was like, oh, you bet I do. And then we have another little short book here, which I'm so excited about. This is Rock Crystal by Adalbert Stifter. I love that name. I love it so much. I love this cover. I'm so happy that I picked this up because I made a mistake when I went to a thrift store months ago by not buying this book because I saw it there and I was like, wow, it's been on my wish list for forever. But it was like at the counter. It was on the counter. I was in the middle of paying for my like already sizable stack of books and I was too like just embarrassed and socially anxious to ask for the book that was sitting on his counter. So anyway, I have it now. This is a very short little fable, very fable-esque story about two children, Conrad and Sanna. And this is definitely a little Christmas story because it's set on Christmas Day, or is it Christmas Eve? Again, it's set high up in the Alps and they are staying at their grandparents' house. When night starts to fall and it starts to snow, the grandparents like send the two kids home on their way and they're like, yo, be careful. But the kids aren't that careful because they end up lost in the snowstorm and then they somehow end up out on the ice of a glacier, staring into the heart of the void. Explores what can be found between Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So I'll probably save this for like a year from now, but, or maybe not. Maybe not. I'm still honestly like pretty in the Christmas spirit, even though January is like flying by. I wanted to make sure, like a lot of these have the same kind of themes, but a lot of times when I go to my bookshelf and I'm in the mood for something light and fun, most of the time I find that like I just don't have a lot of that genre, and for me that's just something I want to have on my shelves. So I got at least a few like fun adventure books when I'm just like in a good mood. I don't want to be like studying anything too hard. I don't want to be thinking about anything too hard. I just like want to have a good time and like really just love reading. So the first one that I got is C.L. Wilson's Lord of the Fading Lands. This is book one in her, I think it's it is Faye. Okay, so that's fine. It's fine. I'm learning more and more because I'm reading a book right now for a video project that you'll know about later, but it's a Faye book and I'm just not having a good time. It's not that Faye book, don't worry, but I'm just not really into the whole Faye thing anymore. But I was so impressed by C.L. Wilson's The Winter King and that series. There is another book in that series, but I just wish she had written more of like I wanted the Winter King book to be just like a whole series. But when I found out that like she has a very long series in I think this is called Terran Soul is the name of the series. I was like, okay, we're gonna give it a try because this is what she is most well known for. Okay, so it's about Rain Terran Soul is his name. He's a legendary immortal Fae King because I don't know what else he would be. He vanished into the fading lands for 1,000 years. And all of a sudden, I think there's this evil. I don't really know what the evil is, honestly. Who knows? That's threatening to destroy like his world and the human world. He comes out of exile. Yeah, I'm just hoping I like it because I was so... Ooh, there's a map. I just hope this has more of the same plot, like more of the same amount of plot and intrigue and like world building that I found in The Winter King. Ooh, this one's heavy. This one is very heavy. Ooh! Oh, it's a hardcover. Okay, so guys, I did it. I bought Floating Hotel by Grace Curtis. I bought Floating Hotel. Eee, look at it. Look at it. I kind of want to see under the dust jacket. Ooh, it's kind of nice. It's a nice purple. A plum, if you will. Professor Plum. Ooh. Hockey arena. Ice skating. Elementary school field trip. 2007. I'm so lightheaded now. Floating Hotel. Okay, so this is another recent release. I think someone told me about this one, and this just looks like so much fun because it's about this like hotel and a caretaker of the hotel, but like I think the hotel, they're both the caretaker and the hotel, they're very old, they're maybe like falling apart a little bit, and he just wants to make sure that his hotel like stays in business and keeps going, but the hotel is set in space. Like I think it's like space opera, cozy space opera. Yeah, we're at the Grand Abiona Hotel, home of the finest food, the sweetest service, and the very best views the galaxy has to offer. All year round, it moves from planet to planet, system to system. Also, why are there love poems in the lobby inbox? How many Imperial spies are currently on board? Yeah, it's set from the manager's point of view, who's this guy named Carl. I feel like that could be a new favorite. And then the other book that was in there was another recommendation from you guys. Thank you so much. This is Skin Room by Sarah Tilley. In this one, I didn't know too much about this. Oh, it's set in Newfoundland. It's set in St. John's. I think that's why it hooked me. We follow 12-year-old Teresa. Describes unfalteringly the mores of Inuit school children and the contemporary downtown St. John's art scene. The love letter to heartache, the far north, late nights in downtown St. John's, family dysfunction, and the possibility of redemption. Thank you guys so much for the recommendations because I found some of my favorite books through you guys. That's getting kind of scary. Okay, we just have a couple more. So I have another fun book here. This is another romance. It's contemporary romance. I don't know, but I've heard really good things, and that is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I've heard that a lot of people who like aren't into contemporary romance have really enjoyed this guy. So this is a rom-com like modeled after and very much parodying like every single movie rom-com ever. There's like I don't really know all the references, honestly. I don't watch a lot of movies, but there are a billion references to films on the cover. I think it's fake dating. I just want it to be fun. This book I didn't buy. This one I actually brought from home, but I just thought I would include it here. So I finally have The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. I finally have it. I've never read The Book Thief. Ever. My family owned it, I guess, and I just decided to take it off their shelves and be like, well, that's mine now. This is so many of your people, whoever you may be. If you're watching this video, there's a high chance that this is one of your favorite books of all time because it ended up in both versions of my like query to people asking them what their favorite book of all time was. It's The Book Thief. I still have not read it. I really need to, apparently. I know this is set during World War II, and I think it's about book burnings. Is it? I don't know if it's completely about the book burnings, but I know it's also narrated by death. Is it narrated by death, which really intrigues me? I think so. So I've heard that this is absolutely like just gonna wreck your soul. I kind of want to pick this up for another video of reading your favorite books of all time this year. Okay, there's two books in here. Oh, this is No Pain Like This Body by Harold Sunny Ledoux. So this one I bought because I am hopefully prophesying that we do have some new choosing methods now with the World Tour Book Club, because I made a TBR jar that's right here full of every single country in the world. But I bought No Pain Like This Body because I was just kind of hoping somewhere this year that it would make it onto a poll somewhere for the book club and that it might win, so then I wouldn't have to buy it this year and break my no buying book ban. But I really want to read this. It describes the perilous existence of a poor rice growing family during the August rainy season. The title really got me. No Pain Like This Body. Oh, so that is that one. Oh god, wait, don't do it. Oh, forgot about this. I was wondering if I actually bought this or not, but this is Angels Before Man by Raphael Nicolas. So, okay, this cover, my goodness. This is a queer retelling of The Fall of Satan. I think it's I don't know how much of a love story it really is, but it's between Satan and the Archangel Michael. Lucifer struggles with shame, identity, and timidity with little more than the desire to worship his creator. Maybe the first romance in the history of everything. Biblically accurate angels on page 1. Anyway, so that's called Angels Before Man. Excited. And then I think the last book, I think this is the last book I hear. Yeah, the last book in the book haul is... Wow, we didn't see that coming 20 minutes before. No books were harmed. The last book I have to show you today is Snow Globe. Snow Globe by So-Young Park. I heard about this from somewhere, but this is like a young adult dystopian South Korean Hunger Games meets, what's that one movie about the train in the snow? Something like that, because the world has been decimated by snow, like so much snow and dreadful cold, but the richest people get to live in the Snow Globe, which is this domed city, very futuristic dome city. I'm already loving this idea. And everyone in the dome there is basically like an influencer or a celebrity, and they have to document their life on camera in order for like the masses who are outside the globe, who prepare like the energy and the fuel and the food and everything for the people inside the globe. So like in exchange for, I guess, the necessities to live, the creators have to provide people with like their lives televised. Only solace comes in the form of 24-hour reality television shows streamed directly from Snow Globe, the climate-controlled dome city at the heart of her world and the only warm place left on the planet. So I think things change when our main character gets a chance to live in Snow Globe and she kind of realizes what that means. I'm just very, very excited. The war for ratings is deadlier than ever. It is a Korean thriller and I'm just very excited. That is Snow Globe, and I know the sequel just came out, I think, so I'm really, really hoping that I like this one, but that is the last book of the book haul. So I hope you enjoyed our last book haul for the year. It's also our first. If you have read any of these books, please tell me your thoughts. I really hope they're like 5-star reads. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're cozy. I hope you got some recommendations, and I will see you very soon. We've been successful so far, over 20 days into the year now with our book buying ban, so I think we can really, really, truly do it. Thank you guys so much. Have a cozy evening. Ciao.